Howdy, everybody, and welcome back to the KG Show. This is going to be episode 6. This is the solo episode. You're just getting me today. We're going to talk about a few things that have been going on, including a health update for me, some things in Detroit, of course, UFC 329, and get into some things that are on my mind after conversations I've been having with people lately. With that said, we're going to get into it. This is episode 6 of the KG Show, starting now. All right, everybody, and welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us, my name is Kyle, a.k.a. Krash Gordon. I am the host of the KG Show, and today, like I said, this is just going to be a solo episode, so you got me talking to you here for a few minutes. So I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but if you do, about a week ago, I put up a post that was talking about I had just been diagnosed with pneumonia and my thoughts on getting back to making fitness a priority as well as self-care in my life. I had been sick since late April. Right after the Golden Gloves in Detroit, I got back and I came down with something that I thought was like COVID or just, chest respiratory infection, whatever. Besides the point, I never really got better. And it just kind of continued to get worse. And I was like, oh, maybe I had a secondary infection, or maybe it was allergies, or maybe it was something like that. I just wasn't feeling good. I was really sore. And I went to bed that night. I started running a fever. And I woke up the next morning and I was coughing up blood. And I continued to cough up blood for about 5 or 6 days. And let me tell you, that is enough to scare the shit out of you. And if it's not, you need to get your fucking head checked. I was terrified. And it really kind of brought things into picture for me about, one, how hard I'm running, and two, how hard I'm running and not taking care of myself, right? I just wanted to get self-care back into focus. I wanted to get back to my fitness and to make that more of a priority. And I think that's super important, and just admitting to myself that I just can't outwork this. I can't outwork this part of my health. I'm getting older, and there is that just need to take care of me. So that's what I'm doing. I've been walking every day for the last week. I'm 12 days nicotine free. I've been shooting basketball again. I have workout plans that I'm getting ready to start kind of as my lungs continue to heal, and just really taking care of me and trying to put that as a priority. But I can tell you, it's not easy, and it takes a while to build habits. I think they say it takes like 4 weeks to build a new habit, right? But I'm doing it one step at a time, stacking those good days. Coach Lance, thanks for that, man. I appreciate that. And it's starting to feel worth it. And I'm starting to get my energy back and feel more like myself, and just kind of putting those boundaries in place that it's time to take care of me, because I'm surely not getting any younger. So that's enough about me. Let's talk about UFC 329. That's the juicy shit. That's the reason that you're here, right? We want to talk about Conor McGregor, the absolute spectacular failure that was the main event of UFC 329. And there's a lot of speculation, and I got on Instagram and I was talking about how I felt that he was injured prior. I've since seen some videos online where he's practicing that side kick, and, he's landing on that leg, and it does seem somewhat stable. And, I saw a comment on Reddit where somebody mentioned that they had just kind of felt like the issues going on with him were cerebral. And that's really stuck out to me, and I've kind of had some time to think about it. And I guess, I don't know. I don't know if he was hurt prior, but I know I was speculating that something was going on. And I noticed it at first in UFC Embedded. You could see when he was taking the pictures, he was very kind of unsure of his footing, and he wasn't sure where to put his feet. And I thought that was super interesting. And I was kind of like, oh, what's going on here, right? And then you saw with the ceremonial weigh-ins that, he took a long time to get his shoes on, and he didn't seem to have a lot of balance. And from there, I was like, all right, something's definitely going on. And then he's walking out to the fight, and he kind of staggers as he's taking off his slides. And I'm like, oh no, man, like what is actually happening? And then obviously we get to the fight, and he throws a couple kicks, his leg gives out, and the fight is over. And I think it was 59 seconds was the main event length. Not great. Not great. That's not a good look. That was not a good look for someone who's been out of the sport for 5 years. That is not a good look for someone who everybody was kind of questioning, does he still have it? And you have to ask, like, is his body failing him at this point? I don't know. And I guess in my mind, there's a bit of a conspiracy theory. So just kind of bear with me here, right? He has one fight left on his contract. He went into that cage on Saturday night. He took 0 damage, got paid, walked out of the ring, and he's good. He has one fight. And this sets up potentially Max Holloway 3, right? And he has one real fight before he's a free agent and he's able to do what he wants to do. And he's been absolutely vocal about that is what he wants to do. He wants to finish his contract and move on. But what happens now? What happens now? Because there's a lot of people that feel like they were sold wolf tickets, right? There's a lot of people who want refunds, and they're talking about what a bullshit main event it wasn't. It was. It was a total letdown. It was deflating. It was not good, right? So what happens now? Conor convinced the world that he could still do it, that maybe he could pull this vintage performance out of a hat and be Conor McGregor again. He convinced the world. He showed up, and it was a letdown. It was a huge letdown. What's next? I don't know. Can he do it again? Can he bring in the numbers again? Can he sell the seats again? I'm not sure. I'll be honest, I don't care. The sport has moved on. The sport needs to move on. And I think that's where we got to go from there. So next up is Paddy Pimblett. And there's that interview he was having, I think it was with Megan O'Leary, and it's while Conor gets injured, and he talks about how he's going to be the golden boy now, how he's the new face of the business, how he's going to be the superstar. And I have to say, that walkout for him was insane. It's always insane when it's Paddy, but that one was especially insane. The crowd was so into him, and for him to go out and finish BSD like that in that crazy, like, modified Darce Peruvian necktie choke, it was fucking wild. That guy is a superstar. And, you know, a lot of people talked about how bad he looked when he was fighting Justin Gaethje, but look how that's played as time has went on. Justin Gaethje went and demolished Ilia Topuria. And, you know, there's a couple more guys that I want to talk about on this card. And the first one is Gable Steveson. And I seem to have a big problem with these, like, collegiate wrestlers that are coming into the UFC, and I don't know what it is. I fucking hate Bo Nickel. I think that guy is one of the fakest people on the entire roster, and I just cannot stand that fake, oh, I'm so blessed, I'm just happy to be here, rehearsed fucking mentality. It's just not for me. I don't like fake shit, and I don't like fake people, and he's one of them. Have you ever Googled the Gable Steveson loophole? Have you heard anything about the sexual assault case that he was charged with back in the day? Well, let me break it down for you. So there were reports of sexual assault involving an object, and we're just going to leave it at that. And essentially, in Minnesota, there was a loophole that they used to get Gable Steveson off, is that if a person willingly drank themselves to the point of not being able to consent to sex, they cannot claim that they were raped. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Why was this even a law in the first place, Minnesota? This law was repealed in 2021 after that loophole was used by Gable Steveson. And so he wants to come into the ring and he wants to talk about, I'm a good person. No, fuck you. You're a fucking rapist, and I don't like you. Go fuck yourself. Moving on, I want to talk about Cody Garbrandt. This guy had all the potential in the world, and for one night, the night that he fought Dominic Cruz, he was a perfect fighter. He was the perfect fighter. It was almost like that man was made to fight Dominic Cruz, because ever since he has been shit. What is it? 5 knockouts, I think? 5 or 6 knockouts he's had. He's been finished twice, and then I think he lost 1 decision. It's just such a letdown. It's just such a letdown for someone who looked so good on one night. And I just can't understand how that happens. I just can't understand how it happens with so many things. It happens with musicians. It happens with athletes. And they're able to put it together for this, like, finite matter of time. They're able to just make it happen for this very small window of time and just be the shit. And then it just goes away. It is so wild, and it is so disappointing to have watched him last night just running in there like a bull, doing the same dumb shit that has got him knocked out 5 or 6 times now, and just to absolutely throw caution to the wind and fight recklessly. It just makes 0 sense. It just makes 0 sense, and it makes it really hard to be a fan of someone who fights so fucking stupidly. That said, this was a crazy card. This was an awesome card. It was a lot of fun. There were 8 first-round finishes, which is a UFC record. The gate was like $25 million, I believe, which is another UFC record. It was a record-setting event, and it was really cool. And I think I heard it was like John Anik or somebody was talking about how people fight differently on a Conor McGregor card. And you can't say that's not true. 8 first-round finishes, that shit is wild. It was a lot of fun to watch. And it's been a while since I was literally like sitting on the edge of my seat, like, what's going to happen in this fight? Like, man, I'm excited, like really amped up to enjoy a UFC card, because we've talked about this. The product has just become so fucking stagnant that it's just half the time I don't even want to watch anymore. And to just kind of have that old feeling of like, yes, like the sport is here and the sport is thriving, and like this just feels so fun. Like just all of that energy around this event was just great. And I hope that they can continue to build their stars. And I know there's all this speculation of they don't build stars anymore since Conor McGregor, because Conor McGregor became bigger than the organization, right? And they're never going to let that happen again, because the UFC wants to be in control of everything. And if that's the case, I don't know how long this organization will survive, because the fans are getting sick of it. And lastly, you want to know another thing that I'm getting sick of? It's these like spoon-fed fucking questions from these journalists. I've saw reports that like the UFC is pre-screening questions from the journalists, and they're just getting all these softballs, and there's like no real questions. They're like asking Conor McGregor, how does it feel to be fighting for your country and all this shit? Like, where are the real questions? Where are the real journalists? Why are MMA journalists so shit at asking questions? Or are the UFC really just throttling the questions that they're getting in these press conferences? Because we're not getting to the bottom of anything. And granted, if anyone even tries, Dana's just kind of ducking and dodging his fucking way out of it, or just being a dick. So I don't know. They got to figure that out. We need real journalism in MMA. So there was one moment that stood out to me. It was when Conor McGregor was getting ready to walk to the cage, and the smoke is rising and the green lights are on, and there's one lone photographer sitting in the cage. And I looked at my wife and I said, that's going to be me someday. And she looked at me and she's like, I know. And I was like, no, seriously, like I'm going to make that happen. She's like, I believe you. I believe that you're going to make that happen. And just talking about that is just really crazy. Like I can picture, looking back from the cage and just seeing all of those people in an arena and taking those like iconic pictures of someone. Like that is the goal, guys. Like that is what I'm working towards. And to have my wife just have that unflinching self-belief. It was similar to like as Max Holloway walked out. Did you guys see that? As Max Holloway is walking out, his wife is just like, fuck yeah, fist bump, do this shit. And I said something to my wife about it. I was like, that is crazy. Like she was just like, get in there, get it, And to have that support from her and to just know that she believes in me, it helps. Because sometimes, man, this is a lonely road. Like I'm doing this thing and I'm making these things happen, and you're not sure. You're not sure if you're on the right track. You're not sure if you're fucking delusional, right? But something is starting to click for me, and something is starting to click, and it's working, and I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what changed. I don't know if it's just been time. I don't know if like I've talked about the gap. I've talked about the gap, how like your skills have to catch up to your taste. Are my skills catching up to my taste? I don't know, because I am so self-critical of my work. I'm not sure, but something is clicking. I'm going back to Detroit July 24th. I'm working with like 5 to 6 more fighters on July 24th. My 4th pro event since February. It is working. It is happening. And it was hard there for a while because I wasn't sure, like, is this going to go off? Like, am I worth a shit? And I've been hearing these things from people lately, like just compliments or mentions that like I'm inspirational. And I don't really know how to deal with that because I don't think about those things. I just do it. I say, this is what I'm going to do. And I just get after it. And I put my head down and I work and I just go, and things happen or they don't. And fortunately for me, in this case, things are happening. they're starting to happen. I'm starting to make money at this. I'm starting to figure out the game. I'm starting to understand how things work, and I'm putting in the time, and I'm getting support. There's a community. I have people who support me. I see them at events and they're like, man, your podcast is good. I'm listening to it at work. And I'm like, that's so fucking crazy. Like, I'm sitting here in my office. This has been my office, and now it's a podcast studio, and I'm talking to you, and you're listening to it and on your time. You're listening to it when you're at work. That shit is wild. That shit is wild to me. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to it. I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to hearing that from people. But here we are, and it's happening, and it's working, and I'm going to continue working because I believe in this, and I want combat sports to be my job. I'm going to make that happen. It's going to be my job. Guys, that belief is what it takes. That belief, that just unflinching belief and just that unrelenting work ethic is what it takes. When you think it's not working, keep fucking going. When you feel that doubt creeping in, keep fucking going. When it's like those dark times and you're just not sure, you're questioning, should I even be doing this? Keep fucking going. I had somebody say something similar to me at a boxing event recently, and it really meant something to me. I made some comment about how I'm not making money on this yet. And he goes, you will. You just have to keep going. So if I can be that person for you, if you're listening to this right now and you have something that you're working on and it just feels pointless or it just feels like it's not working, keep going. Most people are going to quit before they get to the point of it working. Keep fucking going. That's my advice, man. That's my advice. So that's going to be it for this show. I just wanted to say thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you got something good out of this. It was good to kind of recap UFC 329 and give you my conspiracy theory that Conor McGregor was hurt ahead of time and he was just using that to get his last fight on his contract. I'm really excited for Detroit on July 24th. We've got Hunter Lee, Cameron the Problem Panicky, Gavin Geck is making his pro debut. Too Smooth, Brandon Wilcox. I mean, man, this is a stacked clip card in Detroit at Motor City Casino, and I am really, really, really excited to be there and to be a part of it. And I fucking love Detroit. I fucking love Detroit. Detroit's energy is different, man. It's different. And I am so happy that I'm starting to build something there. I'm not sure what it is yet, but something. It's happening. So I'm going to be taking a couple weeks off. I'm going to load up some more guests. We're going to get some more people here in studio. I'll probably start doing remote episodes. You know, these first 6 episodes have really been still finding my groove, still figuring out what I like, still figuring out how I want to do this. But I've had some really cool guests in, and there's been some really cool conversations had. And if you haven't checked out the prior episodes, please do. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Please comment and like. I know everyone says that, and you guys are probably so fucking sick of hearing that shit, but like, it matters, and it helps. It helps the channel grow. It helps push me out into the algorithm so that more people can see this. And I think it's good. I think it's good. It's getting there. It's going to take a while, but it's going to be good. I don't know, guys, seriously. But regardless, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and we're going to talk to you soon. That's it for the KG Show. Peace.